30 years ago today, the Queen legend Freddie Mercury confirmed he had been diagnosed with AIDS following intense speculation about his health.
Freddie, who was the first major rock star to acknowledge having AIDS, tragically died at his home in London just 24 hours after that announcement. His friend and Queen lead guitarist Brian May joins us now. Brian, I know his documentary is due to come out on the BBC this month, and it takes us back to that moment. And for Freddie to have hold this secret so close, and for you guys in the band to protect Freddie like that, must have been a very, very difficult and challenging time for you all.
Yeah, it was a hard time, but it kind of united us as a family in a sense, because we just completely closed ranks around Freddie and tried to make his life as easy as possible and try and keep the harpies away. And a lot of people kind of poking lenses through his windows and stuff. It was a horrible time for him. And a lot of the time we went to Montreux, particularly Freddie actually lived in Montreux for a while. I just came back there from visiting our dear manager, who's still there and not very well. But Freddie had a lovely time there. He was able to escape. And, of course, we had the studio there so we could make music. And making music was Freddie's life. He just loved it. He could insulate himself once he was in that environment. And we had a fantastic time. Strangely enough, it's one of the most joyful times we ever had. Freddie seemed to be able to leave all the rest of it outside and just enjoy making his music.
We've already spoken this morning, and I don't know if you saw, Brian, but our UK news editor, Paul Brand, did this incredible piece of investigative work tracking down and identifying, putting a name to the anonymous patient zero, the first person in the country to die of AIDS, and how important that was in, you know, showing the stigma around AIDS back then and enabling his family to feel... To know that he had even died of AIDS, because a lot of them didn't even know there was so much stigma around it at the time.
That's right. Yes, it was a horrible thing, and of course it stood in the way of dealing with it and protecting humanity against the disease. If you see the documentary, a lot of it focuses on the fact that we did the tribute concert for Freddie, to put him in his proper place, but also to start the awareness that AIDS was a disease which affected everyone, and we needed to unite against it. And we made those first steps, or some of the first steps, to get rid of that stigma. And the world moved forward, I think, at that point, and realised, yeah, here's something we have to fight against together.
And so 6 months after his death, you staged this incredible concert. And during that, you had incredible performances, but one of those that's highlighted is George Michael singing Somebody to Love. And an article in the Sunday Times says it was like a primal roar. George Michael had sold 100 million records and yet did not feel able to come out as a gay man. Years later, he said it was the greatest performance of his career and the loneliest moment of his life.
Bless him, yeah. It's terrible to think that he's gone as well now. Looking at that footage, he was such a beautiful young man, you know, and the voice was incredible. I think it was a definite highlight of the night for us when his voice was coming out of that monitor system, so clear and so strong. He was a wonderful performer and a wonderful guy. Yeah, and it says something that even at that time, it was hard for him to come out and be honest about his own sexuality. Yeah, the times were very different. Times have changed so much, and I'm glad. That's the way it needed to be.
Brian, you're known as a rock legend, of course, your time with Queen. You're an astronomer, you're a publisher. I know you mostly want to be known for your animal activism, don't you? Out of all of the things that you've done, that for you is the most important.
Yeah. To me, you know, I think on the day that I die, I want to be able to look back and think that I did something to try and improve the way that humans treat the rest of the animals on this planet. I think it's one of the great unspoken and unsolved problems, really. We're not very good at treating each other very well as a human race, but we are terrible in the way we exploit the other creatures on this planet. And to me, it's a mission. I can only do it, of course, because I have the door open, by Queen and by music and the other things that I do. But yeah, it's very important to me. I feel we have a terrible debt to pay back to the creatures of this planet, and it's time we started thinking about it and stopped destroying their habitat To me, that's a big thing that we should be looking at. Global warming is a huge issue, but it's not the only issue. We are destroying the habitat of not only ourselves, but all the other creatures. And it's going very fast and terrifyingly dangerous.
Have you got a gas fire in the back of your room, Brian?
I have indeed. Yes.
Is it an
nice and always frosty here.
Is it an eco-friendly one?
I've no idea. It's been there a while, so it probably needs updating. Everything needs updating these days, but it's very nice. Yeah, I think it's fine. I don't think it's having a big carbon footprint here. Of course, you can burn logs around here if you want, but we don't at that the moment.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a good decision.
You've got, you know, we've already listed the incredible achievements that you have to your name. Adil has an absolutely remarkable book in his hands.
Tell us about this, Brian.
You do. You have a beautiful book in your hands.
Tell us all about it.
Yeah, I have one as well, strangely enough.
Hey, there you go, there you go.
Yes, I was fortunate enough to get one. Yeah, it's a dream to have made this book. I didn't write it. My wonderful researcher, Denis Pellerin, wrote it, but I spent a lot of time working with him on it because it's been a dream of mine to actually put the record straight as to what stereoscopy is, where it came from, what 3D is and how it relates, and to try and dispel a lot of the myths that have come over the years. There's a lot of inaccuracies. You know, fake news wasn't born last year. Fake news existed for the Victorians as well, and all kinds of people claimed credit for things which they shouldn't have. So this is how stereoscopy was born, how we learned from Charles Wheatstone in 1832 that we need two eyes for a reason. We have two eyes for a reason because it gives us this depth perception of the world. Nobody figured it out in the Renaissance, which continually amuses me. No Leonardo da Vinci. They got perspective, but they didn't get stereopsis. So to me, this is magic, and this is the book I wanted to put out for a long time. And it's published by my own London stereoscopic company, of which I'm very proud.
Fantastic, marvellous. Well, we should all... That's something on the Christmas list, I'm sure, for many people this year. As well as, I'll quickly mention, tickets maybe for your forthcoming tour. Is that going ahead, the Rhapsody Tour for 2022? Looking forward to it?
It is. We're resuming. Yes, we're resuming in May. We'll be rehearsing the beginning of May and going back out to take up that tour, which got postponed when COVID hit. Yeah, I mean, it's very much fingers crossed because we're going all around Europe in theory, and who knows what the quarantine regulations and COVID situation will be in all those countries. I think we may take a couple of hits, but hopefully in Britain we'll be under control. We can do those. We do a number of dates at the O2 and some up and down the country. I'm going to show you this as well because I finally have a paperback version of Queen in 3D. So this is our other 3D, and I will be selling this on tour.
How many books?
Not because I want to make money, but because
got?
it's a kind of crusade.
OK, you can get the cookbook out now. Have you got a
selling
cookbook
so
there,
much
Brian?
stuff.
Brian, have you got a cookbook? Have you got a cookbook? Oh, he's got something. What?
I've got everything.
He's got a whole library.
Do you know, it's quite funny. I find myself... Yeah, I find it odd that I'm selling stuff, but, you know, it's things that you believe in, and I love it.
Short of cash, clearly,
things that you can offer to the world to make it brighter.
Got to pay the bills.
No, well, it would be lovely if stereoscopy made money, but it doesn't. But it's a joy for me. It's a crusade, if you like.
Well, it's a joy for you, for us to have you join us on Good Morning Britain. Thanks very much, Brian. Good luck with everything. Good luck with the tour, and we'll see you
Thanks for
again
having me.
very soon. Take care.
It's lovely to see you. Still to come.